it took me all this time, like 2 years, to realize that this is the reality for most people, right? And we don't talk about it often enough. You look on the gram, you look on Instagram, you look on Facebook, you look on Twitter, you look on YouTube, and you see these moments, you see these reality shows, you see people on their reels and their videos, and you see these scenes behind the screens. Oh, poetry. Anyway, you see these scenes behind the screens, and you're like, wow, that person got it together. Wow, they're living such a good life. Wow, I can't do that. I got the same credentials. I got the same type of, you know what I mean? You start comparing yourself. You start overthinking it. And what we fail to remember is that what we see on the screen, behind these screens, are most often scripted, right? And if they're not scripted, it's luck. Like, they caught the camera at the right time to take up this scene. They were able to pause in that moment and pose, right? Oh, let me take a picture. Okay, give me a second. Let me fix my hair, right? Let me put my nose ring back in because this one, it'll be falling. Anyway, like, they were able to pause and say, okay, let me slow this moment down, and then pose for the camera and capture that best moment of one of their realities. So most of us are living in two realities, two worlds at a constant, almost everyday time. But what we see on social media is often somebody having the opportunity to pause and slow down one of their realities enough to pose and take a picture and put it on that screen. And now you're on the gram scrolling like, oh my God, their life is so perfect. Well, guess what? It's not. And we've seen that, right? The couple that we thought was, oh my God, so perfect, filed for divorce. The couple that we thought, oh my God, he never posts her, they're living happily ever after. The business owner that we're like, oh my God, they talking about stocks, they talking about LLCs, they're talking about, getting money, I want to be a part of that. 2 months later, oh, this person is a scammer. Ponzi scheme, right? And so I want to say that one more time. What we see on the screen is the best moments of one of a person's reality, where they're able to pause and pose and get that pic, that video, wherever it needs to be in order for us to consume it. And then we compare our lives, or we just, see these things and we're like, shout them out. And we forget that they too have to experience multiple realities. They too have moments that are highs and lows and crappy and shitty and all this stuff, right? We forget about that because what we see in is like the perfection, the pause moment. And I used to post on social a whole lot more. I used to just talk. I used to be free. And then once people started giving, I wouldn't say critique, because I've always gotten critique from people. And I think what messed me up the most was that experience of like the such high fluctuation of the two worlds, the two realities back to back, that I'm like, I felt like a fraud, right? It wasn't really comparing myself to others, but I just didn't feel the way I wanted to feel, and I didn't feel confident to present myself to the public anymore. And from that like insecurity, then it built into shame. It built into, I need to get myself right, but first, before I go back out into the world, start creating, start talking, like, am I talking bullshit? Like, am I telling these people are reading my blogs, people are reading my books, people are watching my videos, people are listening to my content. Is it legit? Like, am I talking real shit? Like, am I a fake? And I had to I questioned that because, again, people would pop up left, right, and center. Oh yeah, book this, buy this, enroll in this. And I could immediately see like, this person does not know what they're talking about. And then when I would say something contrary to that, I'm just like, these 10 people are trying to sell on the quick and easy. I'm like, yo, this shit is messy. People want quick and easy. That's that's the society that we've developed. You want Uber, you want Lyft, you want Uber Eats, you want Instacart, you want the quick and easy. You want the plants that have the little seeds, then you just water it and everything grows. We are living in that society. So here comes along me now, like, hey y'all, things are not that perfect. You gotta take time. You gotta do it step by step. I felt like I looked crazy, but no, not anymore. We saw the pandemic was, I think, a huge wake up call for people, myself included, that a lot of this stuff it doesn't really matter, right? A lot of this stuff is just that, made up. And we have the opportunity to choose how we exist in these realities. And I wanted to call myself out on that and start living the way that I wanted to live. Not the way that I felt like I should be living, or doing the things that I felt like, were right or socially accepted. And that allowed me to get back to the core of me, to ground myself in my existence, to ground myself and acknowledge the realities that I lived in, and to figure out how I could then get back to my communities, to feel a sense of belonging, and a sense of belonging to myself almost, right? Like it's so crazy, but I'm about to explain it, right? We're gonna have a second part of this episode where I dive into the belonging part, because it's so essential, and talk about communities. But before we end off this episode, what I want to say is the fact that, like, this learning has been so key, right? This experience has been so life-changing for me that I felt I was compelled. I had no, compelled to share. I was like, if I do nothing else, I have to share this experience with other people, because again, I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. I've seen the changes in various people. I've seen, the folks that are not doing the hard work, are not doing right, just pretty much doing, that are not out here doing it, getting it done in the trenches, really putting in work, are not being seen. And that's why I started a lot of my brand, right? To really, teach people how to be in the trenches and get that hard work done, so that way they have a solid foundation for when they come out at the other side. And we've gotten so quick and easy that more and more people are choosing that route, coming out at the other side with houses that crumbled because they're made out of sticks instead of stones, right? And so I'm like, I got to get back in the game. I have to do what I came here to do, and that's to get shit done and help other people do the same. So I say all that to say that with belonging and community, and just really this season, what I want to talk about is these experiences, these adventures, these misadventures. And I'm going to be sharing. It's going to be the real stuff, the hard stuff, the messy stuff. So if you're expecting picture perfect, wrong place, y'all. I tried that. That's not for me. I'm here to show y'all the real. Sometimes it's going to be picture perfect, if it's cute or whatever. But I'm here to show y'all the real. And I'm going to purposely try to slow down in those crazy, messy, hard moments. May not be able to pose and be perfect, but I'm going to slow down and capture it and share it, because it is so essential that we recognize and realize that the multiple realities that we live in are real. They are real, and we're constantly experiencing them at highs and lows. And we need to understand how to live in that dynamic, to succeed in that dynamic, to stay healthy in that dynamic. And that requires not feeling alone in that dynamic, which was one of my biggest problems. I felt so alone. Belonging in community, coming up. I know I keep teasing y'all about it, but it's coming up next episode, right? And so I'm ready to start sharing my stories again. I'm ready to take this head on, right? The crazy stuff, you're gonna get submerged, right? It's gonna feel like a wave coming at you that you didn't see coming. You will get sucked into the point you can't move, you can't function. That's how the crazy hard stuff is. You can't move, you can't function. And then you're gonna realize the best way to get out of this crazy wave that just trying to drown you, right? Trying to submerge you, is to stay calm and float with the tide. That's it. You gotta stay calm and float with the tide. Going against it, boom, you're out. Trying to overpower it, boom, you're out. You have to slow down, stay calm, float with the tide. So with that, I say, right, I'm gonna start sharing my story again, unapologetically. I'm gonna start slowing down in these crazy, messy moments, so that people could start seeing the real, right? The real things behind this, because a lot of fake out there. No subs, but it's just the world that we live in. A lot of pretend, a lot of made up, a lot of illusion. Beautiful illusions, but nonetheless illusions. They're not real. And then folks will go and try to attain that illusion without knowing it's an illusion. And then when you don't succeed, you're like, oh my God, it's me, I suck, I can't do that, I failed. You didn't. It's just an illusion. You were trying to learn a formula for doing something without realizing that it wasn't a formula. It was an illusion. It was to make it look like that's what happened, but that's not really what happened. That's not really how it's done. So again, hard work, the trenches, we're gonna get shit done. And I wanna just, in my life, personal and professional, to build a bridge between these two worlds and live my best life as just one me. So whether I'm in my family, with my friends, with my colleagues, with my business partners, they know Georgie's gonna be Georgie. This is how she shows up. This is who she is. This is the type of music she likes. This is the type of food she likes. This is the type of things she likes to do. This is the stuff that she don't take, right? This is how you can talk to her. This is how you can't talk to her. I want to just show up as one me, no matter what dynamic, what place, what world I'm in at that time, what reality I'm in and experiencing. Bridging those two worlds is the goal of this season and just the rest of my life, you know, that too. Because this life shit is hard. Then add being a full-time entrepreneur, add being a parent, things can go real crazy real fast. And I've learned a lot of lessons in my 26 years, many more to go. And I've been on many adventures and misadventures, which I'm gonna tell y'all some, but you know, if you wanna go listen to my first 4 seasons as well as read my book. Lots of content out there to figure it all out. It's crazy, y'all. Some of these stories, wow. And in this season, I plan to take it up a notch, right? You thought I was raw before? You ain't seen nothing. This season is gonna be a heavy hitting season, and talking about the different dynamics that you have to balance in this world as an entrepreneur, a doer, a person who's really out here trying to get shit done, doing the most, right? And I'm gonna just give you a little hint of some of the stuff I'll be talking about this season. Some of these adventures and misadventures include joining a cult. I'm gonna let y'all think about that one. It is or isn't what you think, but we'll talk about it. Getting married and getting divorced. Ooh, that's a new one for some of y'all. Moving multiple times, again, 15 times. Crazy. Over 15 times. Building and running multi-six-figure businesses, as well as scaling my business past 6 figures during the pandemic, traveling to Mexico, and then realizing that I love to travel and traveling many other places since. We're gonna talk about it. Raising little humans. I have a 4th grader and a pre-kindergarten. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Y'all, this is wild out here in these streets. And failing at multiple startups, growing a team, self-transformation, and building better relationships in my life. So those are just some of the topics I'll be talking about during this season and how they integrate back with being an entrepreneur, being a doer. And I will want to leave you all with this episode with, as it was in the beginning, and it will once again be in the end. It's the adventures and misadventures in between where we do the most that will matter. Did y'all catch it? Let me say it again. Let me say that one again for y'all. In the back. Yep, in the back. As it was in the beginning, so it shall be again in the end. And it will be the adventures and misadventures in between where we do the most that will matter. So stay tuned, stay locked in. We'll be dropping our next episode of Doing the Most, the misadventures of entrepreneurship, very, very soon, talking about belonging and community. Thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to you tuning in for the next episode. Bye, you guys.